Hey, it's D. It's a brand new episode coming right for you, right on the FTO Network. Enjoy. Hey everybody, this is D of FTO Nerd Talk, and that is right, you read correctly. This is the wrap-up 2022. I told you guys it was coming. It is here. This is the best of the year's wrap-up of all the cool things. We got at least 10 or 12 topics to talk about this episode. It's going to be a lot of different things talking about today. It's going to be ranging from best TV show to best animated property, video game, comics, music, and like things to look for. It's going to be so much we're going to be talking about. And like, yes, it's going to be a little bit different than our normal show, but you know what? It's going to feel a little bit the same like our normal show because we're going to talk about all the things we talked about throughout this entire year, but it's going to be the best stuff. I wasn't going to do candidates of who to talk about. I wasn't going to do candidates about this person did this person did that. I wasn't going to do any of that. Then I realized, you know what? It's going to be a very boring show if I don't do that. So, you know, I had to change my tune very quickly about doing that and put it out there for everyone, to see what I thought. This is all like on my vote, by the way. Like, this is all very, very D of FTO base type of category. And had to put it out there, had to talk to you guys about it, had to put what I thought, what I've been watching, what I thought has been cool, kind of interesting, and the best stuff. So you know what? Let's just get right into it. Best of number 1, 2022 TV show. There was a lot on this list to put out there. There was so much on this list that I had to not put some stuff on this list because there was so much. The MCU properties like Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk, and Moon Knight, all those shows are out there. They're all very stellar. I haven't seen any of them, but I know the reviews are out there are pretty locked in for a lot of different people. It's a little mix from some individuals, and I get that, but all around, fans loved them, hardcore. But there are a lot of shows out there that I thought were really interesting. House of the Dragon, of course, on HBO Max. Andor, also on Disney Plus, sharing the same space as the MCU shows. Strange New World. The Star Trek show that was a spinoff of Star Trek Discovery, which is very traditional and the original Star Trek TOS. And Dropout, the miniseries about the executive who Holmes, who gained a lot of traction from her fake business. That was on Hulu. The Summer I Turned Pretty. This is a Amazon special show that was what are the Ugly Duckling type of stories? This is a really interesting TV show. It's one season so far. I think it's only going to be one season. But it was based off a book. It was really captivating. I watched it with my wife. I thought it was a really, really touching show. Rings of Power, also on Amazon. This is needed. This was needed. I feel if you watch my TikToks and see me talking about this show, I did not have nice things to say about the first episode. But it picked up after a while. It really did. And I grew to like it. I thought it was a really good show. I liked the diversity part of it. The fans did kind of throw me off a bit at first, but it picked up really well as it went on. And Blackbird, this is a Apple TV Plus show with Targan. He was in the Kingsman. He was also in the recent Elton John movie. I think he was in Sing as well. But yeah, all good shows. But my winner personally is The Sandman. This is a Netflix show, Neil Gaiman story. It was really good. I was captivated throughout every episode of the show. I know I'm kind of blowing through this right now. I'm a little nervous doing this because I've never done a best of show before. not on this kind of spectrum. Not with me being the host by myself, talking about it with me. So I'll try to slow it down from here on. But The Sandman was my number 1 show. I love this. The fact that it's getting a season 2. Yes. So excited for a season 2. It had a standard story. It had an actual story you can follow. It had a story you can take note in and enjoy and soak in, had all those things, but it also had some side stuff that was going on as well. As I said before in previous reviews, the side stuff is where it really shone. That's where the spotlight needed to be, was on the side stories. And like the fact that like it took a little break from the side stories and went back to the main story, it felt like a comic in a way. It felt like a comic and stuff like cause or like a team book. Like, stuff happening like to a team. You get the spotlight on different teams and see what they're doing like across the world or different space and stuff like that. It felt like old school comics, and that's what the Sandman gave me. I know there's a lot of people who did not like the Sandman, so a lot of us who did like it was worried it wasn't going to get a season 2, but it is. If you haven't watched any of these shows I talked about, make sure you check it out. I am going to be watching Andor pretty soon and doing TikTok videos about every episode. And after that, I'm going to be watching the She-Hulk show, then Moon Knight, then Ms. Marvel. So the Disney Plus Cavalcade is coming out. I'm also doing a Strange World review. I saw it with my family on Tuesday. It was, I'm not going to say what I liked it or not like it, but I watched it. I'm going to give a review about that as well. And I also watched Bullet Train. So, there you go. But next up is Best Animation or Best Cartoon. I talked with a friend of mine, Greg. He said to me, hey, this is also a video I want to put out there. Like, this, like, it's full on. It's in the history books. I think cartoons should be noted for children, and animation should be for, like, adult animation. Because saying adult animation sounds like you're watching a XXX video, So maybe animation is for the adults and cartoon is for the kids. And this is best animation. Period. Best animation. So it's going to be all like adult brand, like for the TVMA crowd. Let's put it that way. And I don't think I slipped on this at all. Lower Decks, of course, on this list. This is like all like the people who didn't win. That's how I'm going about this. Like, I'm telling you about who didn't win. Yeah, I give you my winner at the end. Lower Decks. This season was fun. It was the season 2 was okay, but this new season, wow, they had a lot of fun with this. You got to see some DS9 fun in this. You got to see like some throwbacks into like the next generation. You got to see the characters grow a little bit. It was a lot of, I think this season of Lower Decks was everything that a lot of fans want to see from Discovery, but thankfully it was in Lower Decks. And like it really touched a lot of feelings inside this season. So if you haven't watched this season, Lower Decks, Paramount Plus, the way to go. Archer, this, even though the Mallory, Jennifer, has recently passed about this, and like seeing her character gone, like not in the show. It didn't hurt the story very much, but like we knew as audience like that she wasn't a part of the show anymore. But the show actually felt like the third, fourth, and fifth season of the show, and it went all legs running, even though like Mallory wasn't a part of the show, and it felt like the Archer of old. It really did. It felt like Archer 2.0. It felt like Archer like getting like some new life inside of it. And I wouldn't be surprised if FX ordered a couple more seasons of this show and kept it going a little bit more. That's how much I thought this was, like, that's how incredible I thought this season was. So if you haven't checked out the new season of Archer, I know 13 seasons. That's a lot to really get into. But I'm telling you, it's worth it. It really is. The Legend of Vox Machina. This is on Amazon Prime. This was a... Now, I had mixed feelings about this because you got a lot of characters who look like POC characters, but they're all played by white people, and I wasn't going to watch it until like a friend of mine, Alicia, asked me to check it out. I checked it out. I wasn't disappointed. The story does start out kind of light and lighthearted and flimsy and kind of like carefree, and then like after maybe 3 episodes, the tone completely changes. It goes very dark, gets very intense. You really like feel for the character. There's still like some lightheartedness inside of it, but it gets very, very much involved as the episodes go on. So like it's definitely worth a watch if you want to get into something that's very fantasy based, but also Xenopop at the same time. And like as I always say, Xenopop is very, very fantasy based, but with a modern feel to it. Like as you guys know, watching Xena was one of the first shows that gave you that period piece feel, but with a modern aspect to it. Like other shows, other movies like A Knight's Tale did the same thing, but Xena was one of the first ones. So, and next show is like Love, Sex, and Robots. I mean, I don't really need to explain myself about Love, Sex, and Robots. Like, I was apprehensive about watching this show in the beginning, like about a couple years ago, but wow. Every episode is a punch in the face, a kick in the gut, or right in your feels, or a lust-filled adventure, and they don't disappoint any episode. Every episode is a favorite episode to whomever that watch it. You may have like your favorite episodes that you go to, that you gravitate towards, but every episode is a favorite episode because they just get better and better with different creators, different artists putting like their works out there. Netflix did a great job with putting this out there for people to consume. And lastly, for animations to check out or that didn't make the cut was Big Mouth. I know it's a long list. The list is going to keep on getting longer for all of this. I'm glad you guys still partaking in this. But Big Mouth was one of those shows that did a lot of cleaning, house cleaning this season. They changed around some voice actors. They put some more characters of color inside the show. They gave you different topics and stories. It didn't feel as kind of like, cringy in certain parts. So if you like Big Mouth, it's really progressing itself or putting itself into a different spectrum. And they got a spinoff of this show, too. I forget the name of the show, that spinoff from this. If you want to let me know, hit me up in the comments on either YouTube or wherever you see this podcast. Let me know, like, to remind me about that show. I could do, like, a quick Google search, but I didn't. That's on me. But my winner of this is, of course, Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn was a great show this season. Seeing Ivy's and Harley's relationship grow, and the cast of the show grow, and seeing the Bat mythos, and not just the Bat mythos, but the DC Universe mythos kind of like expand itself and have some fun with it and have been played with a little bit. It was fun to see how that played out. So that was really like a wink and a nod for me. Just something like to consume. It's on HBO Max. If you have HBO Max, it's like 3 seasons now to consume. You can binge them all. Have all these shows are all out. They're all finished. So if you get a chance, go check them out. Tell me what your favorite show is. I want to hear what you think your favorite. I want to hear what your favorite show is of these categories of 2022 best of. Next up, we got best anime. Now I gotta say, I haven't seen all these. I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna play this as what the majority have said is like the best of the best out there. And I'm going to put out there what I've seen as most people's favorite, bar none, of the year, mind you. I feel like I'm going to have this same kind of conversation about game also. And if you are a gamer, you see what I'm talking about also. But this is what I see Blue Lock, my buddy Devious of Urban Sama, told me about this show. He loves it. It's a soccer show. He did like a mini review about this. Told nothing but positive things about it. It's a soccer-based anime, but has like a shonen kind of feel to it. Definitely worth looking out from his review. It makes me want to check out this anime myself. My Hero Academia new season is not a filler season, to my understanding. A lot of progression in the story this season. A lot of stuff goes forward. A lot of like things like happen and like you feel for the characters in this one. The new Bleach series, the 1,000-Year War. Like, this is something that is changing Bleach mythos in itself, especially it being one of the top 3 animes out there. It's something like to respect and honor and put onto a pedestal. I know, like, I'm joking. Like, you don't put stuff on a pedestal, but like, it's definitely something to look at and take note of and like try to have some fun as you consume this latest season that got a revival for all the fans out there. So definitely like top on the list. And you're saying to yourself, why isn't this on top of the list? That's because the list isn't done, and like there's more out there to talk about, like Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man like recently got dropped this year in anime form. The manga's been out for years. A lot of fans like were heavily talking about this, waiting for the theme song, waiting for the animation, waiting for the show itself, and it did not disappoint to the fans. The fans have like put this at the top of the list multiple times since this came out. It's beat most of the other shows that I've talked about on this list multiple times. But Chainsaw Man is definitely like high up on this list. It didn't get the top one because Spy Family is the top dog inside of this one here. Like, I know a lot of you probably saying, what? Man, you gotta be kidding me. This list is bogus. I know like the anime stands or the weebs, the otakus, whatever like you guys are calling yourselves now when it comes to this genre, this culture of anime. But yeah. Spy Family. From like the cosplay to like the video edits to the music that I see like on most videos, Spy Family is top. It's top tier. for all the fans. All the fans have talked about this heavily. Even though it has not made the top list from what I've seen so far of like all these other animes being on it, Spy Family is like the anime that I've seen most people talk about. Like if I was being like, practical and going number based, Bleach would be at the top of this, but Spy Family is the anime that I see most people gravitating towards. I see most people having commonality with, and most people are in agreement about like of liking as a whole and not having like mixed feelings about. Like I know some of you can say the same thing about most of these on the list as well, but I'm telling you, from what I've seen in the communities that I've been a part of, which is many, Spy Family is the top of that list. So maybe I gotta rethink my list, but that's how I see it. Next up is Best Actor. Now, Best Actor is women or men. Like an actor is unisex. That's how I see the word actor. So that's why when you see me talking about an actor that's a woman or non-binary, I still use the word actor because there is no subcategory. Some of you may say it's a way to let these actors of different gender strive for themselves. Like and get top tier inside like their respective gender category. We can have an argument about that for hours or days or even years. But this is my list of Best Actor. Jennifer Coolidge. She's on the list. She did a lot. I recently watched her in a Lotus. I think it was a Lotus Hotel or Lotus. Yeah, I think it was Lotus Hotel on HBO Max. Stellar work. Absolutely stellar work. It was a different change from what she usually does. She was more pragmatic, more grieving, more less funny, more intuitive with her character, and I can see why she won Emmy, because wow, like I get it, I really do, like I really really do. I saw her in a film with a TV show with Naomi Watts as well, The Watcher. Incredible work. Like she's really like she's destroying everything that she does. Like I think that she has finally had a few syndications under her belt with Two Broke Girls, and she has this freedom to do whatever she wants to do now. And now she has an Emmy on top of it, so she had to be on the list. She just did. Quinta Brunson from Abbott Elementary and a Black Girl Sketch Show on the list. Not top on the list, but on the list for sure. Also won an Emmy this year. She is just killing it, man. Like if you haven't watched Abbott Elementary, you are missing out. You just are. Period. Period. Next up is Jonathan Majors. I feel like I don't need to say much about this guy. He just had a new film called Devotion that came out. He's about playing an aviation pilot in the Korean War, one of the first black aviator, the first black aviator pilot in history. And the critics are raving about this film. I haven't seen it personally. I need to go see it. But yes, Jonathan Majors is definitely on this list. Had to be on this list. It would be rude for me, not to put him on this list, to have a best of and not put him on the list. And, of course, Brian Henry Tyree from Atlanta and Bullet Train. Talk about that a lot. Twice I talked about that. He's also on the list. His acting has been top-notch, man. He's doing so much work. He's putting himself out there so much. I think he had, a film with Jennifer Lawrence. I think it's on Apple Plus TV. And I gotta check this out. I've seen it. I forget the name of it. I saw a clip of it on TikTok. I gotta get into it. I just do. I gotta immerse myself into more genres of film and television. I wouldn't say it's an excuse, but being a parent, trying to transition from homes is a lot. It's taxing. Running this whole operation and keeping yourself afloat. It's a lot to put on your plate to keep on going, because I got a lot. I make an episode where I talk about all the things I'm doing, but that's why I haven't put myself into all these different properties. But the Best Actor award goes to Michelle Yeoh. She is doing a lot. She has the Witcher prequel coming out soon on Netflix. She just did Everything Everywhere All at Once. She's also doing something with Sector 31 Star Trek series. So, yeah, Michelle Yeoh, she wins. She just does. You can argue about this all you want, but like she's been killing it this year, man. Like she just has. Like she's been on it. Like I don't want to like. I hate ranking actors. I hate ranking art. I hate doing like any kind of ranking in general. That's why I didn't want to put a list on here because I want to get like blowback. I know I am, but I think Michelle Yeoh, like she's been doing it, man. Like yeah, like she showed like a different side of herself in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and like you can't deny that. You just can't. Like you gotta put some respect on her name. You gotta give her flowers. All like the colloquialism that us black folks use. You just gotta give it to her because she's been on it. Absolutely. All that being said, we're gonna take a little break and we'll be right back.
You're listening to FTO Nerd Talk. Excellent choice. If you're looking for more nerdy content, consider giving my idiot co-host and I a chance. We are two idiots and a dog, and we talk about movies, comic books, and general pop culture and entertainment media nonsense. Give us a listen on Good Pods, Anchor, iTunes, or your podcatcher of choice. You can also find us at podpage.com/TIAAD media, or you can always find us on Twitter and we'll bribe you with dog pictures too.
And we are back. That was a good break. I needed that break. I am having like more fun than I thought I was going to with this, to be completely honest with all of you. I thought I was going to be bored doing this, and I think I was going to like burn myself out. I was like, I don't want to do any of this. Like, I'm going to just stop doing this halfway through. But this is really fun. This is really fun talking about this. I know these lists are long and like maybe like too long for some of you, but you know what? I want to give credit where credit is due. And you know what? Who doesn't like a longer podcast listening to something over like the holiday week end and the holiday month? So, Hanukkah's coming up, Kwanzaa coming up, the winter solstice is coming, Christmas is coming. Who wouldn't want to wrap up podcasts like in your ears while you're celebrating all those different holidays? So, all that being said, next up is best movie. I had like a subcategory of indie and Hollywood, but I don't think I put many indie films on here. I think I had like 1 or 2 indie films on here. I think most of these are Hollywood, very big budget. But the ones that didn't make the cut is Bullet Train, of course. Just watched that one last night. I see why everyone's talking about it. I get why everyone's talking about this movie. It's good to see Brad Pitt back in films again. The cast, man. The cameos. The cameos is nuts. I can't say too much about the cameos about this because like the cameos are what make this really cool. There's just so many of them from so many different actors. Like you just like the actors that pop up in this, you would not expect to be popping up in this film, and they do, and it works. It doesn't feel forced. It's like what? And like they sell their roles, man. All of them, all the characters. They own it. They own all of it. It's a fun ride. It really is, and I really had a good time watching this. Next up is Nope. Again, haven't watched Nope, but like from what has been given to people, what kind of genre this film is, from what I hear about the cinematography, what I heard about Jordan Peele say that he did with certain scenes, like one scene he shot during the day, but they put a filter over it that made it look like it's at night. Like, what? What? So it's a lot. It's a lot to put on that. Next up is Black Adam. Now, again, Black Adam wasn't like the big breakout film of the year, but it did put enough butts in seats for us to possibly get a sequel, for us to get Henry Cavill coming back, to even seeing Ben Affleck possibly coming back as a main role in the DCEU, which is wild to me. And and The Rock himself has he sold this film. It's the same kind of phenomenon that Deadpool had with Ryan Reynolds. Not as much of a money banger as Deadpool. I feel like if it came out in February, it'd be a whole different story. But that's whatever. The Woman King. Now there's a lot of controversy about this. A lot of history about this. About what the tribe actually did. Lupita Nyong'o also talked about this in certain documentaries. There's a lot of history and stigma when it comes to this movie. But the movie itself been praised, highly praised. Some mild controversy behind it. Some conversations to be had for sure. But the movie itself, a lot of people are talking highly about it. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is another film on this list. Just talked about Michelle Yeoh being on top of the list. Gotta put the movie on here too. Had to be done. Had to be done. Next up is one of the big horror films of the year, Pearl. Now this is one that I did a review on in a previous episode of the show, and made me want to see it. Heard a lot of reviews about it. Some good, some not so good. But it's an indie film. It's a horror flick. Had to put it out there. I had to put it on the list. And lastly, had to put an MCU film on here because, like, if I didn't, like, the MCU fans like recall Foul, but Thor: Love and Thunder. Even though a lot of you did not really care for this film, it was a bigger majority than I thought didn't care for this film. It was such a disappointment to some of you that the MCU is changing their Phase 4, changing their Phase 5, and focusing more on quality as opposed to quantity, which I don't think it's going to work out for them in the end, because the big thing about the MCU is the quantity, because that's how they got their money pit. Well, it's whatever. But my answer, of course, is The Batman. You can take that however you want to take that. That movie was phenomenal. So, yeah. Again, I haven't watched Nope. I haven't watched, like, most of the movies on this list, but The Batman. I don't care. Like, it's whatever. The Batman was incredible. It was a masterpiece. Period. It was a great movie. I loved it from start to finish. My eyes was glued to the screen the entire time. It was a different take on the Batman. It was a more realistic feel, even more so than what Nolan did, but it still held true to the comics, held true, like, to other previous comics that were already established. It put a lot into the mythos of the Batman, and I loved it. So, be upset, be not upset. It was a good movie. And this is going to be an interesting category because even though I haven't played most of these games, I have seen them in action. MK Ice and Fire. I feel like MK Ice and Fire need to make like a little sub FTO page and just let me talk about them playing the game as they're playing it and just like have my voice over it, because I love watching MK Ice and Fire so much. They just play the game. They don't talk about it. So, like, me talking over their gameplay would be, like, sacrilege, I suppose, but I still want to do it. The games of the list that did not make the top is God of War Ragnarok. If you haven't played this game, oh my goodness, it's wow. It really does just, it evolves itself. It's not the top of the list because, like they're the top of the list, like, did things that, like, you know, you just can't change. You can't compromise on. But God of War Ragnarok, it evolved a game that was already great. It made it just as great with the sequel. So, wow. Next up is Marvel Snap. If you haven't played Marvel Snap, it's a mobile-based game, card game. Dude, I didn't think a Marvel game that was a card game would touch my heart as much as it has. But I am, like, hooked on this game. Like, it's a fun game. It keeps you going. It does need to tweak itself a bit. The PvP is coming out soon. New cards are coming out. Me having to buy new series every single month, not my cup of tea, mind you. But the cards themselves are fun. You get into these cards, like, you want to level them up. You want to use them. Like, it's always a fun time playing these games. So definitely Marvel Snap, top on the list. Stray is another one. It's a game about a cat in a post-apocalyptic world that's trying to, like, re-evolve a civilization, but they got, like, these bugs and creatures who want to kill organic creatures. It's an interesting game. It's a fun game. It's short, but, you know, it had a mixed bag attached to it. So, you know, like, some fans liked it, some fans didn't like it, some fans like it was a pointless game, some fans like it was, like, the most intuitive game of the year. But yeah, it's on the list. Horizon Forbidden West. Now, this is on the list because, like, the game is a phenomenon. Like, it is, like, putting, like hands on controllers. It's getting people, like, to play this game. People are definitely talking about this, especially gamers talking about this game of all different calibers. If you guys haven't followed Princess Zahida, she plays this game ever so often on her Twitch. So make sure you check out her page, Princess Zahida on Twitch. And she goes at it. She's a hardcore player of this game. She loves, like, the Horizon series. Horizon is getting a TV show. It's also getting, like, a new game coming out next year. So, like, yeah, man, like, it's out there. Splatoon 3 is a game that a lot of, like, Splatoon fans have been raving about. Not one negative review from what I've seen from fans or, like, video game outlets. Like, mostly nothing but positive reviews. Like, nothing but positive from what I've seen on my end. It's an interesting game. Not a game for me, mind you. Like, that's not really my cup of tea, but the Splatoon fans themselves are very pleased about the new era of Splatoon with Splatoon 3. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. This is something to really look at and really take in Because, like, to see this happen the way it did, to have fans, like, still get as excited as they did once before about the original Modern Warfare 2, this is something, like, to take in, man. Like, it just is. Like, seeing games like the Final Fantasy game, like the Final Fantasy 7 game being remade, and, like, other games being, like, you know, remade. And if you listen to the latest episode of Table Cheese with Anton Six and I, he talked about how Marvel vs. Capcom needs to get the same kind of treatment. Like, it's fun to see this. To put, like, I would say, like, you know, that's, we get into a whole conversation about, like, the remaking of games and, like, how this should look. But, like, the fact that this is, like, the new era of gaming, interesting. Like, it just is. Something to put out there. But, like, my game of the year, the big mamma jam of this, and, like, if you didn't hear it on the list, you know what it is already. Elden Rings. Through, like, duration. I watched, like, from start to end. Dude, first off, it's a long game. It really is. But, wow, man. Like, it's intuitive. It's smart. It's fun. It makes you, like, utilize different, like aspects of the game. I have seen certain people do certain, like, activities attached to this. Again, like, a friend of mine told me about the certain videos to watch on YouTube of people doing, like, certain tasks, like playing a game while only using a bow and arrow, or playing a game without dodging an attack. So you got to figure out how to upgrade your armor, how to upgrade your stamina and all your different speeds and everything like that, your weapons, and fight these characters without dodging an attack or just using a bow and arrow. And it's interesting to see. It has, like, the same kind of feel that I saw Skyrim when it first came out, but different. Because it is, even though, like, Skyrim is, like, an adult-based game, also very M for mature. Both games are, but I feel like Elden Ring has, like, something with a modern appeal that fans today can really get their hands around. And I feel like more fans may gravitate towards this game as, like, more so than fans towards Skyrim during this day gravitated towards. And the game sold a lot of copies, and most of you know I don't really focus, like, I try not to focus on sales when it comes, like, to games. I focus, like, on the game itself, because sometimes sales isn't what's important, because people would just buy things sometimes. But this game, man, like, it was something else this year. It just was. It was phenomenal in its own right. The game itself was incredible. It was so much. Like, it has to be top of the list. But let's go next up. This is gonna be a little bit different of a mode. Shit. This is gonna be a little bit of a different mode. Sorry about that. My car turned off on me, and I thought, like, my recording ended on me as well, but it didn't. It's still going. So next up is going to be comics of the year, and comics of the year is Batman Superman World's Finest. And now I got to see if I can find a synopsis for these, because I wanted to make sure I give you guys like you know, the same proper FTO experience, and, you know, not tone it down for you. An aspect of what is appealing or not appealing. I did not do a screenshot of that one. Apologies for that. But I did get the others on here to talk to you guys about. And those next ones is Leon the Extraordinary. The synopsis is Leon is an extraordinary kid who becomes extraordinary when he fights a supervillain to save his school. In the city where Leon lives, superheroes and supervillains are commonplace. So how does an ordinary kid like Leon, who has no superpowers himself, become the superhero he wants to be? Now, this is pretty average on Goodreads. It's about like a 4 out of 5 on the book. It's by Jamar Nichols. But I saw this in passing, so, like, this sounds like a really cool story. I can see, like, why some people would think, like, this is, like, the book of the year. And, like, I'm putting it on this list. I have no qualms about it. Absolutely. Next up is going to be Invisible. The synopsis is for fans of New Kids and Allergic. For fans of New Kids and Allergic, a must-have graphic novel about 5 very different students who are forced together by their school to complete community service. Now, this seems like a very teen-based kind of book. It's by Cristina Diaz Gonzalez. It just seems like a fun story. It just seems like something like that's very a comic, but a comic for people who just want to read a good comic. You know what I mean? Just like a fun romp of a story to get yourself like endowed inside of. Next up is The Dark Hold. Now, this is a Marvel comic book. It has like a lot of ties to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Doctor Strange. The Dark Hold is also known as the Book of Sins, the Book of Spells, the Book of the Damned. It's a hell of a story. There are different kind of attachments to this. The Darkhold Alpha, the Darkhold Blade, the Darkhold Iron Man, Darkman Wasp. Like, it really does go on and on of different, like, Darkholds. It's like it was an event. Now, I know most people are thinking to yourself, like, well, he's definitely going to put Dark Crisis on this list. Dark Crisis is not on this list. It's not. It just isn't. But Darkhold Alpha is by Steve Orlando and art by Cyan Tormey. That's a whole different list of different artists for like different books as well when it comes to the Darkhold series. But like Darkhold is a book that I want to just put out there, and like just I feel like it needed to be talked about because like it had like so many different attachments attached to it, and with the Multiverses Madness that came out as well, I feel like it needed to be talked about and put on this list. But my list is Borello. Borello is a story. Let me see if I can find my notes for this book. It's a story, indie book that came out. It was recommended to me by a friend of mine. Comics Will Break Your Heart. Jennifer, Comics Will Break Your Heart. She suggested this book. I gave it a run through. The synopsis is: a woman running away from a broken heart discovers a mother key into a parallel universe. And if that doesn't sound like Everything Everywhere All at Once, I don't know what does. And if you guys haven't checked out Comics Will Break Your Heart, they have a live podcast every Sunday on YouTube. I definitely say check it out. It's sort of written by Wyatt Kennedy and Luana Vicho. So there you go, Borello. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you get like a look-see for these comic books that are out there. 2022, man. A lot of stuff came out this year. And a lot of people talked about a lot of different stuff. This is like what I picked out in particular. I didn't want to go hardcore DC and Marvel because that's all I ever talk about every week. I want to go something like a little bit more obscure. Like to make sure that you guys, like the stuff that gets like Eisner Awards, that's what I wanted to put out there for you guys to listen to. Next up is going to be Best Artists. Now this is Best Artists, contemporary artists, sculptors, drawing, stuff like that. And like this was a little bit difficult for me to put out there for consumption, because like it's talking about art, like most people think music. But that's not what I meant. Like definitely a well-rounded verse of art. Now I do have like some friends who are art majors who teach art, who talk about like the study of art and study of history and like the sociology of art and culture. And I didn't contact them about this, but I did get my final answer from Princess Zahida. I feel like a person who does the best of, or the artist of the day every week on Blurt News is a person who should make this answer and put an answer for you guys to hear. So I'm going to rattle out those who did not make the final cut and read off synopsis from artuk.org. This is where I got like a lot of my suggestions from. If you check out my Twitter page, I did put the link on there as well. So you can like check out these people also. Toyin Oja Odutola. The work of the Nigerian-American artist ranges from intricate media drawing to works on paper. Her fictionalized portraits are often rendered in charcoal, pastel, pen, or pencil, and offer the viewer a glimpse into an alternative universe, one in which black figures can take center stage. And wow. If you do go to this link on my Twitter page, they leave all the Instagram pages for all these artists attached to it. And my goodness, the art is phenomenal. Next up is Camille Walala. The French designer and artist Camille Walala studied texture design at the University of Brighton before establishing Studio Walala in Easton, London in 2009. Known for her colorful geographic architectural design, her work is inspired by the Memphis Group, an Italian design movement in 1980s founded by Ettore Sacks. And the art is absolutely phenomenal. Like, absolutely phenomenal. Like, the colors are vivid. The style to it is like, man, like, you want to talk about like some futuristic art. This is some wild stuff, man. Like, it really is. Next up, and last before the final is, I didn't go hard on this. Like, this is like talking about like artists of today. It's not really like my thing, like the hardcore get into. That's why I pass this on to Princess Ahita. So I'm going off like what I think is nice, not by the masses. So like, this is all bias. I gotta be honest with you. So for the final one, which is like the answer of Princess Ahita, but like, this is all very biased on my front. This artist is Shawanda Corbett. The American Performance Arts, Ceramics, and Sculptures, Shawanda Corbett was born with one arm and without legs, leading the artist to use her art as a way to express the realities of being disabled. Raised in Mississippi, she is currently completing her doctorate at the Ruskin School of Art, University of Oxford, where her contemporary practices utilize cyborg theory to explore questions about what defines a complete body. And if that doesn't astound you, I don't know what will. Because if you see her work, holy hell, like, it will move you. Like, it will move you. I don't know how to say that any differently. Like, it most definitely will. So definitely make sure you check out these artists at the link that I left. I'm going to try to put this link also inside of the bio of this episode, the show notes. So make sure you check it out there. But the artist that I went with, the artist that Princess Ahita went with, is Mark Joy Media, Afrofuturistic AI generator art. And his art is also, it has a very colorful feel to it. It gives you hope and inspiration when I see it. It makes me think of like a fun, carefree, like how, this is going to sound weird to say out loud and like something I haven't said out loud, mostly in my head, like how every 80s, 90s, 70s cartoon show made like the majority of white people feel. That's how I feel when I see his art. Like the world is my oyster. Like, I can be a journeyman. I can be an astronaut. I can be whatever I set my mind to. And like, looking at his art gives me the ability to feel that. And I see why Princess Ahita gravitate towards his work so much, because it gives you that feel of hope and optimism. And like, I know I'm finding my words for this, and I get that, but my goodness, the art that he throws out there is absolutely phenomenal. So definitely check out all these artists. Make sure you give them like some love. Talk about all of them with your friends. Spread their work. Put it in your stories. Post it on Twitter. Whatever you can. Just put their work out there and like share the love for sure. We got a few more categories to go, but you know what? Let's take a quick little break again before we start all that, and I'll be right back.
What's going on, guys? My name is Nemo, and you probably know me as Who is Nemo on TikTok. And I just want to take some time out today to talk about a very special podcast. Now, that podcast is FTO Nerd Talks. Now, FTO is a podcast that gives you daily updates on all things pop culture. So if you're into anime, manga, comic books, TV shows, movies, and all that good stuff, FTO is the podcast for you. Now, I know what you're all thinking. There are so many podcasts out there that already do the same thing, and I'm about to tell you why FTO is so special. Now, FTO is so special because they emphasize on Black nerd culture. Not only that, if you like to be interactive with your favorite content creators, FTO is the special podcast for you. Now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you just want to state your opinion about a certain project, they will engage with you. So if you haven't already, please go follow FTO Nerd Talks on all social media platforms. And if you haven't already, please do me a favor, follow them on Apple Music and Spotify so you don't miss out on their weekly podcasts. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Haven't used that ad in a while. I need to get back to using Who is Nemo. Dude's a cool guy. He's putting out a lot more cooler content right now. And like, you know, I feel like he's really starting to feel what his future is when it comes to like the content creation. And like, I'm here for it. So kudos to him. Check out Who is Nemo. He's primarily on TikTok right now, but like he's put out some cool stuff when he does. So definitely check him out. Next up is going to be Best Songs. Now, I wasn't going to put this on the list, but I've been watching a lot of TikTok and Instagram videos lately, and they've been hitting me, man. Right in my feel goods. So, gotta put some back songs out there. First up, Plan B by Megan Thee Stallion. Now, that's a lot of stuff that went on this year. If you're big into politics, you know what I'm talking about. So having a song like this on this list is needed, for sure. And you know why? I don't need to get into it. This is supposed to be a show that's not talking about a lot of stuff as much, but definitely had to put Plan B by Megan Thee Stallion on here. Next up, even though I'm not the biggest fan of hers, I know a lot of people are, Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift. Now, I hear a lot of you probably throwing something at your radio or your headphones right now. I get it. Hey, if you don't like Taylor Swift, it's what it is. If while you're cheering and jumping up for joy, hey, you're welcome. You got Taylor Swift on your list. Like, you got your bingo card. It's all filled up now. Taylor Swift is on here. So, there you go. Also on the list is N95 by Kendrick Lamar. This song, oh my goodness, this song. Whew, man. Dude killed it this album this year. He really did. Like, yeah, definitely check. I should make a mini playlist, like the wrap-up songs, and put that out there for you guys. I'll probably post it on Twitter, probably this weekend, so you guys want to check it out. Titai Mi Pregunto by Bad Bunny. Apologies. Like I tell everyone, I speak two languages, as English and not the best English. Those are two languages I speak, and this is a good song. Bad Bunny, entire album this year was phenomenal. He himself is an inspiration to many people, myself included. Dude stands up for injustice, and his songs are very captivating. His videos will touch you in your feels. So, wow, a lot to take with what he does and how he puts himself out there. But number one song of the year, number one, "Cuff It" by Beyonce. I don't care what you say. Like, this is not like all the other songs. I don't know. Like, this song is, Beyonce killed it with this album this year. Like, it is mostly like a jam fun album that she put out there, but it works. As opposed to what Drake did, this works. Period. Say what you want to say, feel how you want to feel. She has like 5 hits from this album alone. Like, that album was amazing. And Cuff It, wow. Everyone and their grandmother is jamming to this song, man. Like, everyone. Like, I can't get it out of my head. I'm singing it in the shower still. That's how good this song is. So, like, say what you want. This album was amazing. So, yeah, just be how you want to be, man. It's whatever. I can't change your mind about that, but that's the top answer. Top answer is Cuff It. This is one that I really had fun doing. This category here, this is most anticipated for 2023. This is like, I'm sitting myself up straight. I'm straightening my back out, get myself all pumped, 'cause I'm going to go into the gym after this. But the most anticipated of 2023. Now, this is going to be a longer one than most, and like the show is almost over. So just letting you know, that's how it is. That's how it is. I can't put it out there any differently for you. But this is it. Let's do it. Let's get into it. First up, most anticipated for 2023. This is John Wick Chapter 4. I know. Like, of course, all of us excited for this. It's John Wick. We've seen the first 2. We've seen the third. Part 4 is coming out. Got like Ballerina, the spin-off TV show. We got it. We know. We get it. Wonka, another one. What? Wonka? Yeah, Wonka. I'm excited for Wonka. You not excited for Wonka? So Wonka's going to be awesome. I'm excited for it. Next up, movie-wise, that's what this category is, The Little Mermaid. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what? I put a little bad taste in my mouth. All the people getting hate about it. But you know what? It's still happening. And I'm still going to watch it. And it's going to be phenomenal because it's Little Mermaid. So, yeah. The Little Mermaid. John Wick, Wonka, Little Mermaid. That's my top 3 films that I'm excited for next year. Next up, video games. Final Fantasy 16. Next year. Excited for it. There you go. Starfield. Excited for it. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Super excited for it. I feel like this game is going to put DC on the map again in video games. Like, you can't tell me otherwise. Like, it's going to be talked about. There are going to be memes about it. Like, it's raunchy. DC is realizing, like, the villains are where to go. Like, that's it. Like, I'm excited for it. That's it. TV shows. Now, I know a lot of you probably saying, like, you didn't talk about any, like, the DCEU or the Marvel films. Hold on there. TV shows. The Last of Us on HBO Max. Comes out in January. I'm here for it. 100% here for it. It looks... I watched part of the game. I knew that game was going to get turned into a movie or a TV show. It's like, I can't watch all this game and get fake because it's going to get, like, it's going to get turned into a film or television show. And like, I don't want to watch all this and ruin the story for myself by watching this game or playing this game all the way through, knowing there's going to be like an adaptation coming out soon. So I can't do it to myself. So I didn't. Secret Invasion. I know. They're like, let it soak in. Secret Invasion. Nick Fury is back. Like, the Nick Fury is back. And he's bringing some Skrulls with them. So, yes. Skrulls, Nick Fury, espionage, hell, yes. So, 110, yes. All across the board. You cannot tell me otherwise. I don't even want to hear anything else until this comes out. This is make or break for me. Like, seriously. This is make or break for me in the MCU, me in Disney Plus. If this isn't gold, like, I'm gonna be back on like MCU can't do nothing, man. Like, seriously, this is a Samuel L. Jackson property. This is like his show. Long awaited, mind you. Long awaited. Like, if this isn't good, I got nothing. I got nothing for you. I just don't, because I'm pumped for this. Full on. Next up, Squid Game 2. I know. This sounds like a lackluster list to some of you probably. Like, okay. Like, I feel it. I feel the list a little bit. Like, I could swing with some of this stuff. Some of it, not so much. I get it. I got it. I do. But this is my list. But most anticipated for 2023, and I feel like this is a majority of nerds out there. I feel like this is a majority of nerds that are excited for this. And I think that most of them are excited for it. DCEU versus the MCU. Let it marinate. I know. And what I mean by that is DCEU is coming up with a lot of properties next year. You know, they kicked a lot of stuff off to the wayside, like Batgirl. I got it. I know. But the Flash is still coming out. And hey, Ezra Miller, they are a weird bunch. I got that too. But it's still coming out. Hey, it's still coming out. Shazam, coming out next year. You know, Henry Cavill coming back next year. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to have Michael Keaton. They're going to have Ben Affleck coming back next year. You feel me? You get what I'm saying? Like, you know, you got James Gunn doing his thing with the DCEU. Listen to that out loud. You got King the Conqueror doing his thing next year. You know, like, just hear, like Ant-Man and Wasp. Just hear that marinate a little bit. Just let it ruminate in your earballs. Like, they got a lot of stuff coming out next year. They got the Marvels coming out next year. Like, so that means Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, Spectrum. What? What? Like, processing this. You got the Thunderbolts coming out next year. That's why I didn't talk about the MCU. Right? You see, that's why I didn't bring it up, because like, they got a lot coming out next year. Peacemaker's coming back. You feel me? Aquaman. It's coming out soon. What do you like Amber Heard or not, dude? Like, that's irrelevant. Like, Aquaman 2 is coming out. It's coming. The Blue Beetle is coming. I think the DCEU versus the MCU is going to be going nuts. And the fact that Legendary is partnering with Sony's going to be throwing little sprinkles inside of this too. Little sprinkles of like the Spookma inside of this also. Yeah, we haven't forgotten the name that you guys came up with a Spider-Man movie cinematic universe. Spookma. Oh my God, that's such a horrible name. But yeah, that's it. DCEU versus Marvel, most anticipated of 2023. Like, that would get me back in movie theaters. I kid you not. My son asked me after we watched Strange Worlds, like, Dad, you get to pick the movie next time. I was like, kid, you don't want me to do that. You just don't. Because, like, you would not have a good time watching movies that I pick. Because it'll probably be something like this. My kids don't like superhero movies at all. They think they're mostly boring. So, what can I do, right? What can I do? Just gotta go with it. But the last category of this whole thing, of this big cavalcade of how long has this been so far? So far, it's almost an hour. You guys spent an hour with me. If you're still listening to this, thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. Even with my little mishap in the middle of this. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, talking about all this stuff, because this has been a fun time. I appreciate it. But the Nerds of the Year is this category. Here is your contenders, and I'll give you the winner at the end. The Sis Kage. He is doing a lot of stuff this year, man. Like, he's really from doing his old folks on the subway and the diners and whatnot, hanging out with Afro Cocoa Puffs and the White Dove. Like when does cosplay, he's been hanging out with a lot of different people out there, putting like his name in a lot of different stuff. I'm really happy for the Sister Kage. He's doing like a lot of stuff this year. Like, and kudos to him, man. Like, he's doing like a lot of stuff. Cuddleful, like that's Cuddleful. Cuddleful. I see most of her work on TikTok and Instagram, but dude, for a person who hangs out mostly in her studio and like just puts like different cosplay, different spins and stuff, does like the audio lip sync, she has so much fun with what she does, and like it's a good time watching what she puts out there. It really is. Like, she had like so much fun with what she does. Keats did it. Keats took a little break in the beginning of the year, but he started like to bring it back towards after the Juneteenth holiday season. Like, after Juneteenth, he started to bring it back out there. Yeah, I know what I just did. I just put like Juneteenth as a holiday counterpoint for people like to point themselves on the timeline, and that is going to be the norm. But Keith did it. He did a lot of stuff this year, man. Like, he put out more sketches. He's been doing more collabs, hanging out at different events. He's just like been putting himself out. I think he finally got like his business established the way he wants to be, a fully fun thing, and like he can do more exploratory stuff with himself. And like, you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here just like to see what he does next. Lioness Z. Now, Lioness Z is mostly known for doing like a very perfected lip sync, mostly of Kevin Hart, or like I call it the Jamaican grocer, or like the Jamaican employee at different stores and whatnot. And like, she does it like well. Like, she does like the lip sync perfectly. But of late, also after the Juneteenth holiday, she's been putting more of a spin of her own stuff out there and doing like more original sketches. And like, I gotta tell you, man, like the stuff that she's been putting out there has been phenomenal. Like, absolutely phenomenal. And it's funny, it's relevant, it's like you get like a look inside of her head. It's really cool stuff, definitely, for sure. Next up, one of my personal favorites, since like AI is the name of the game this past month, Denisha Carter. Now, Denisha Carter is most of you may know, is like the AI spokesperson who talks more about activists, plot points, more situational things about people doing something that's unconventional, that's unmoral, and putting out like the hard truths that a lot of us don't want to see or recognize, but probably should. She's also a musician, a very talented singer. I had a chance to speak with her on Instagram once upon a time, and like, she's through that conversation I had with her, she's a very down-to-earth person, very cool, very personable kind of person. She's been in more lives of late this year, and I'm very happy to see that, because like, she really is like, she's a treat. She's a really cool person to talk with, very humble. She'll call you out if she has to, but like, she mostly just wants to be like a chill vibe person, man. Like, if you ever get a chance to chat with her, do so, because like, she really is like just a genuine person to chat with. Next up, Princess Ida. Hey, nepotism, how's it going? I don't care. She's awesome. Her work has been awesome. She went to a convention, and a little bit before or in between like the Juneteenth holiday season, around like June, July, she went to a convention, did like a Demon Slayer cosplay, My Hero Academia, Poison Ivy. She did like a very cool like 3-day event cosplay, and like, awesome to her. She's making like transitions, showing off her wardrobes of late inside of her stories. If you haven't been checking it out, check it out. Like, she got like some cool dresses. She got like cool outfits. You see that she's making transitions in her life also. Always happy to see what she's doing. Her and I are going to be bringing back Blurred News next year. So like, definitely keep an eye out for that. Have some fun with that stuff also. But yeah, definitely like on the list, Princess Ida. Also on the list, official Tashi J. Yeah, sorry, Tosh. I know you're listening to this. I know you're still listening to it also. Like, you're on the list. I've been seeing your moves also. I know you took a little break in the October season. But, like, you came back in the end of November and just rocking out content. Just rocking it out. If you guys haven't checked out official Tosh J, make sure you check out her work. I got her handle in the show notes. Got all like the different like categories in the show notes too. I'm glad I wrote all this down, because if I didn't write any of this down, it would be like a very rough podcast to post. But definitely check out her work also. Give some love to her. She has fun with what she does, and like, she having more fun with every single video that she puts out there. And I gotta tell you, like, she's a thespian through and through. Like hardcore balls to bone actor is what she is. And I wouldn't have her any other way, because like she is just amazing in all forms and facets of what she does. But the nerd of the year for all of you, the nerd of the year, and this is going to be, this is like one that like I mulled it over for a while, because like I gotta tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I was gonna pick Cuddleful for Nerd of the Year. As I said previously, like her work has just been like so much fun to watch, and she really just like puts herself out there, and you can tell that she puts herself out there. But Alex's Little Secret stole the show, and if you haven't seen Alex's Little Secret, like you are literally missing out on like the most fun person on TikTok, in my personal opinion. Like, her quality is crisp. She has a great setup. You can tell like this is like her full-time career, that she does this as a profession, and she loves every second of it. And I gotta tell you, man, like, if you're not checking out her work, you really are just missing out on a great entertainer. And wow, like Alice's Little Secret is, her different cosplays, first off, are phenomenal. Her sketches, her lip syncs are hysterical. And her bloopers are something to be admired, for sure. Like, if you've ever seen any of her bloopers, her wrap-ups, like the thing that she's done throughout the year or a couple of months, it's a fun time to watch. Her behind-the-scenes stuff is definitely hilarious. So that's my list. If you guys are listening to it, all of you are absolutely incredible. If you're not listening to this, and you know people who know these people that I just talked about, send it their way, man. Let them know like they are incredible in their own right, and I love all their work. That went on a lot longer than I thought it would. An hour-long episode of me talking about the best of. This is the wrap-up, man. Like, time for me to wrap it up. This was fun. I hope it touched you the way it touched me. Like, I put a lot of thought and effort into this. It was not easy doing this. I'm going to make that first and foremost to let you all know this was not an easy venture for me. This is definitely outside my wheelhouse of norms, like of things to do. Hopefully next year is a lot more easier for me. Fingers crossed, right? Hopefully I got someone who's tagging along with me this time. So it'd be like a 2-hour long episode. We're talking about all different like categories. Like put the fan base from Twitter. I thought about doing that, about putting all these categories on Twitter and having people pick like the answer, like do like a March Madness kind of thing. I was like, no, I need to like to do it myself first. Like do like one that's just for D, have him do it, and then like go at it. I know how I'm talking about myself. I hear that in my head. But yeah, this was fun. This was nice. It was very comfortable. Thank you all for joining me on this little adventure. For those of you who stuck it out to the very end, listening to this right now, thank you most of all, because I love doing this. I love doing the podcast. This was not easy for me all year. This has been like a lot of roller coasters for me. And the fact that I've been doing this like continuously like this, I'm not going to get like weepy or whatnot, but like this is like, I'm proud of myself for doing this. Like very proud of myself for sticking it out like this, putting myself out there like this. And this is hard for me to talk about also. A lot of people hit me up in the DMs from time to time, telling me like how like what I do inspired them like to keep on doing what they're doing. I'm not gonna say any names because that wouldn't be respectful. But a lot of folks talk to me like often, say, hey man, like what you do like really like helps me want to keep on doing what I'm doing, and like I want to say thank you for doing what you're doing every time you do something like this, or put someone else's name out there, or promote somebody, or do another video, or do a podcast, or talk about like your workout struggles and all that stuff. Like people tell me about this often, and like I don't know what to do with that sometimes. I'm not saying like, you gotta stop doing it. I would never tell someone to stop doing stuff like that, but like it's a lot for me to consume when that happens. And before, I had to process it, I'd internalize it, told myself like, what does this mean for me? Like, am I supposed to be like the person who does like X, Y, and Z for A, B, and C? Like I don't know. But like, I want to keep on being genuine. Like people on a regular call me real. Like, bro, you just real, man. Like you just tell like it is. Like, I don't know how else to be truly honest with you. I just don't. Like growing up in Atlanta, dude, and being like a black dude who's like into nerd stuff in like the 80s and 90s, bro, that was not easy. Like, I'm glad it's the norm now. I really am. I'm glad like right now, like you guys like can have like your true freedom to love your anime, put it on your automobiles, wear it on your clothing, and like have that camaraderie with others. Like, I'm glad you have that experience. Like, I would never want to change that for anybody. I saw a person wearing like a full-on Marvel decked out uniform, like a blazer with Marvel in the front and the Hulk on the back, and like a baseball cap with Marvel in the front of it. She looks like she worked for Marvel. She looks like she was a mini what the hell is his name? The president of Marvel Comics. The Marvel Cinematic Universe. What the hell? I can't think of his damn name right now. He's the guy that everyone loves. But she looks like a mini him. Feige. Good God. Why was that so hard for me? Yeah, she looks like a mini Kevin Feige. And I probably shouldn't like assume their gender. Like, you know, it was pretty their gender was very non-conforming, so I should probably say they had like a mini Kevin Feige aesthetic about them, and I had no idea what to do with that, and I was happy to see it, but you know, like, it's Marvel. It's Marvel. If it was DC, I probably like, hey, that's a cool fit you're wearing right there, man. But I also saw someone wearing Attack on Titans, little little soccer jacket, you know, a little zip up soccer jacket, which was also pretty cool. So like, I see it everywhere, like all the time, and like it's fun to see that. And me growing up the way I did, had like the inability to find these items, that had like to go picking at certain places and wearing it until like it had holes or got stained or faded. That was the time. This isn't like a dump on my past. I'm just like, I'm happy to see that the nerddom is growing, that things are growing, and that people like confining me about certain things. And like, you know, I just try to be like the best self I can possibly be about this and not hurt anyone in the process of talking about this. And if I ever do, as I always say, that's never my intent. I apologize for that. I am all for talking about this and like in letting you know like where I was thinking, where I was coming from, and how I did not mean to hurt anybody in the process of me doing anything that I'm doing. I have many ventures with other creators. They some of them work out, some of them don't work out. But you know what? I just try like to be myself in the end and like own up to my flaws, hold myself accountable for my actions, and move forward. That's all I can really do. So, you know what? Like, we all have like some kind of like problems that we do when it comes to other people. Making friends is damn near impossible sometimes, being older. But you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do and just put your best foot forward. So, this has been the wrap up. And if you are listening to this for the first time, thinking, so like, why's he talking about this? Welcome to FTO Nerd Talk Podcast. This is the show. Every episode. God, so neurotic. Anyways, this is fun. I hope you guys are doing well. Until next time, take it easy. Hey guys, D here of FTO Nerd Talk. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends about FTO Nerd Talk. Got a lot of different shows for all of you. Make sure you tune in every week for a brand new episode. Take it easy.